Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to EU Microwave Week. My name is Kevin Thompson. I'm a business development engineer with Keysight Technologies. And if you want to circle around for just a few minutes, I'd like to make you an expert in the connected car revolution and the industry surrounding it. So when it all began, it's a little disputed, but I think since we're in Nuremberg in Germany, it's safe to say that Carl Benz invented the automobile in 1885. A funny story though, later that year he went for a public test drive and he crashed into a wall. It's a cute little story, but it's actually quite the prophecy for the years to come. The 2016 global development aid was $142.6 billion, which is unfortunately overshadowed by the road crash cost globally of $518 billion. This is a view of lunchtime this January in Hong Kong, which marked a reading of 196 micrograms per cubic meter of harmful PM2.5 particulates. And to give some perspective, PM10 particulates are small enough to make their way into the lungs and cause some harmful damage. And PM2.5 particulates are a quarter of that size. And by the way, the World Health Organization safety limit is 25 micrograms per cubic meter. And then we have all these millennials with their personal taxis and their car sharing and their ride sharing, and they continue to show a preference for services which provide access to products which mean that they don't have to have certain ownerships. And that might be because of the reality of this industry is we're seeing about 3,000 deaths every day, between 20 and 50 million injuries every year. That means between now and when I present again tomorrow, we'll see 50 to 130,000 road accidents. And from 2015, this has been the number one cause of death for young adults aged 15 to 29. And road accidents are 95% caused by human error. And so logical conclusion might be, well, we take humans out of the equation. So we have all these things coming together: safety, financial cost, fuel economy, environmental concerns, and a new generation of buyers whose behaviors are threatening traditional revenue growth. And you might be surprised to hear that the solution actually came many, many years ago. It was the Batmobile. And what we're calling it today is the connected car. And this is being greatly enabled by microwave technologies, which is why Keysight's here this week. These are coming in the form of radar and vehicle-to-everything, or V2X technologies. So let's start with radar. We're seeing this at 76 to 81 gigahertz, automotive radar for line-of-sight applications. This is everything from adaptive cruise control to lane departure warnings, blind spot detection, and parking assistance. Moving up from 24 gigahertz, we're already seeing advances in the greater bandwidth, the ability to distinguish smaller objects and gain greater spatial resolution. We're seeing 76 to 77 gigahertz for the long-range radar and 77 to 81 gigahertz for the short and medium-range radar. The other benefits here are the higher permitted transmit power, and due to the higher operating frequency, we're able to work with smaller antennas. Some of the challenges we're seeing are interference from other nearby radar signals, environmental conditions like oxygen and H2O, in other words, rain has been a problem, and target simulation, making sure that everything that is being tested in the lab is taking care of all the critical real-world situations. And then we have V2X at 5.9 gigahertz for non-line of sight applications. And this is everything from traffic signal priority, charging and parking discovery, blind curve or blind intersection warnings. On highways, this could be platooning of multiple cars, or this could be on highways, advanced notice of a slippery road. And we're seeing two technologies that are working to enable this. We see this in the form of Wi-Fi and cellular. On Wi-Fi, we have the industry term DSRC, or Dedicated Short Range Communications. This is based off the IEEE 802.11p standard. On the cellular side, we have CV2X. This is also known as cellular V2X, based off the 3GPP LT V2X requirements. Wi-Fi, the DSRC standards are already being tested today, and C-V2X is more of the new kid on the block. To understand DSRC, it's best to start from the beginning, which actually began way back in 1999 when the US FCC allocated 75 megahertz to the automotive industry so they can begin working on DSRC. And in the meantime, however, DSRC developed very slowly, but the Wi-Fi needs from other industries really surged. And so as the search for more space for unlicensed services grew, by 2013, the FCC invited comments about whether we should be sharing the spectrum. And so to dramatize a little bit, we see this battle at 5.9 gigahertz. We have the automotive industry claiming its existing claim to this band, and then we see the communications industry and their growing need for more unlicensed space. And what's so difficult about sharing it? Well, this is what we're sharing, just this little band here. And from a wider perspective, this line here covers what two of the largest industries on the planet are trying to share. And so this is what the two industries are trying to work with here, just that slim little part. And this is what's being proposed for expansion of use of this band. We see 160, 80, 40, and 320 megahertz bands moving in. And towards the end of sharing, two concepts have been proposed, and both to answer the basic question of can unlicensed services operate in the DSRC band without causing harmful interference to DSRC. The first comes from Qualcomm. This is a rechannelization concept. The gist of it is that, yeah, sure, the bottom 40 megahertz can be shared, but the top 30 megahertz, these need to be kept only for DSRC so that we have the ability to make sure all the safety messaging that's going on between these vehicles is taken care of. Next, from Cisco, we have the detect and avoid concept. This is basically saying any business, it could be a bank, a bakery, anything next to a road would be connected to a DSRC detector. And if this detector detects DSRC, could come from the Batmobile or anything else, then it turns off. And it turns back on when the car is gone, when it no longer detects the DSRC signal. So we have these two options, rechannelization or detect and avoid. And these are what are being proposed for an answer to can we share this band. So that's Wi-Fi, that's the DSRC, what's going on today, and it's the complications around building the standard around an Ethernet, an existing Wi-Fi standard. And then we have cellular V2X. This is more the new kid on the block, and the standards were only recently released earlier this year. From the 5G Automotive Association, they say that C-V2X has three unique benefits over DSRC. First, it has more priority levels for the safety messaging. It's able to take advantage of the existing cellular networks. And it has twice the range of DSRC. So a question we can be asking is, as C-V2X continues to develop and prove its strength and capability, how is it going to coexist with DSRC, which is already being tested and implemented? But that's a discussion for another day. So for V2X in general, from Wi-Fi to cellular, we have these two main questions we can continue to ask ourselves in the industry as these continue to develop. The first one, can unlicensed services operate in the DSRC band without causing harmful interference to DSRC? And how would that work? And then the second question, how can or how will C-V2X and DSRC coexist? And so across all of this, from radar to V2X and everything that's pushing for safer traffic, cleaner air, and improved mobility, there's this quote I like from Greg Winfrey. The past 50 years have been about surviving vehicle crashes. The next 50 will be about preventing them. That's the connected car. Thank you for your time. If you'd meet with some of our experts here, we'd love to show you what the demos we have for connected car, for automotive radar, any of the other 5G applications. Thank you.